The clink of crystal glasses, the too loud laughter, the tight smiles stretched like plastic wrap over everything. Madison's birthday dinner was held at one of those high-end restaurants where the waiters whisper and the lighting makes your food look like artwork. The kind of place you book when you want to impress, not connect. And that's exactly what we were doing, performing. My mother, Carla, sat at the head of the table, swirling wine she hadn't even tasted. My father, Tom, made awkward conversation about interest rates. Madison soaked in the attention like it was her birthright, as always, flipping her perfect hair, talking about her internship in New York as if she'd earned it herself. I sat at the far end, where they always put me. Just close enough to smile, just far enough to be forgotten. Then came the moment. I don't even remember what I said. Something about the past, maybe. About how I used to dream of dancing, too, before Madison's ballet classes took all the budget. Madison froze, her jaw clenched. Then she slammed her fork down. The noise cracked the table's fake cheer in half. You're not part of this family. You never were. The words shattered the air. The entire restaurant seemed to go silent, like the world itself leaned in to listen. My mother looked down. My father's face turned blank. No one rushed to defend me. No one said, "That's enough." They just waited, but I didn't flinch. Instead, I reached into my bag, calmly, methodically, and pulled out the folder I'd been carrying for 2 weeks. A thick white envelope stuffed with printouts, photos, records, truth. I placed it on the table. The sound it made was quiet, but heavy. I looked Madison dead in the eye. "Are you sure you want to do this now?" She blinked, but didn't respond. Carla shifted in her seat like the floor was heating up beneath her. Tom stared at the folder like it might explode. I let the silence stretch. I wanted them to sit in it. Feel it. Because this wasn't just a fight between sisters. This was an exorcism. Of everything they'd buried. Of everything I'd uncovered. Of everything they thought I'd never dare say out loud. They thought they knew who I was. But I didn't. Come to that dinner to be part of the family. I came to end the lie. I used to think maybe I was imagining it. The way Carla, my mother, would instinctively reach for Madison's hand in public, but never mine. The way every family photo was cropped just enough to push me to the edge. The way Tom, my father, or the man I thought was my father, would quietly leave the room when I cried. I wasn't neglected in the traditional sense. I had a roof, food, clothes that fit. But love? That was rationed, carefully distributed, and I was always at the bottom of the list. I remember one Thanksgiving when I was 10. We were going around the table saying what we were thankful for. Madison said, "My friends." Carla said, "My daughters," then corrected herself. "Well, Madison, of course." She laughed. Everyone else did too. I did not. That's the thing about subtle cruelty. It doesn't leave bruises, but it leaves you bent. While Madison got dance lessons, makeup classes, new shoes every season, I was told, "Be grateful for what you have. We're not made of money." But somehow, we were made of money for her. In school, I started lying to friends. I'd say I was adopted as a joke, that I was the neighbor's kid they forgot to return. But deep down, it didn't feel like a joke. It felt like a warning. Madison never hit me. She didn't need to. Her weapon was always silence. The raised eyebrow, the shared smirk with our mother across the table. She once told me when I borrowed her jacket, "That's not your style. You don't have one." I handed it back. I always did. The only one who occasionally seemed to notice was Tom. I'd catch him glancing at me, then quickly looking away, like my presence made him uncomfortable, like he knew something I didn't. But he never spoke up. Never asked why I ate dinner alone when they went out. Never wondered why I called him Dad and he never said it back. By the time I turned 16, I'd stopped expecting anything. No hugs, no surprises, no "I love you." Just birthdays spent watching Madison blow out her candles while mine were barely remembered. So when I started suspecting I didn't belong, it wasn't a shock. The real question wasn't if I was an outsider, it was why they kept me at all. It started with dust. Tom had asked me to help him clean out the garage on a Saturday. The air was thick with the smell of old boxes and motor oil. He handed me a pair of gloves and told me to be careful with anything labeled tax records. They were important. That's when I saw it. A plain white envelope, yellowed at the edges, wedged between two manila folders. It wasn't marked, just sealed. No label, no year. Almost like it was meant to be forgotten. I almost tossed it aside, but something about it felt off. I slipped it into my hoodie pocket and said nothing. Later that night, in my room with the door locked and the blinds drawn, I peeled it open. Inside were 3 pages, crisp, folded once, medical header, lab results. I scanned the first line and froze. DNA paternity test results, Anna J. Carter. My full name. I sat up straighter. My heart started thudding. I kept reading. Mother, Carla S. Carter, confirmed. Alleged father, Thomas W. Carter, excluded. I read it again, and again, excluded. Not inconclusive, not pending, not even unknown. Just one clean word, like a guillotine. Suddenly realized I was gripping the paper so tight my knuckles were white. A date in the corner. 7 years ago, I was 11. They had tested me 7 years ago and never told me. I tried to imagine it, Carla and Tom sitting in some cold clinic, whispering to each other while the nurse called my name, then choosing to bury the results in a box labeled taxes. Like I was a liability. I didn't cry. Not yet. Instead, I sat very still, because if Tom wasn't my father, then who was, and why had they kept me? A few nights after I found the DNA results, I stopped sleeping. I would lie in bed, staring at the ceiling fan, letting the blade slice through the dark like a slow, deliberate knife. My thoughts kept looping. Tom wasn't my father. Carla had lied. And for some reason, they had kept me. I was waiting for one of them to slip up, say something, drop a hint. But what happened, I wasn't prepared for. It was around midnight. I was getting a glass of water when I heard Madison's voice, soft and sharp like glass under a towel. Her bedroom door was cracked open. She was on the phone. She found something. I don't know how much she knows yet, but Mom is freaking out. Pause. A laugh. Honestly, she was never supposed to stay this long. I told Mom we should have sent her to live with Aunt Rachel years ago. No, she doesn't belong here. She's not even Dad's. I froze. My spine locked. She knew. Madison knew the whole time. I mean, come on. The way she looks, she's a walking reminder of Mom's mistake. I stepped back into the shadows of the hallway. My fingers tightened around the glass. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. We don't owe her anything, she added. She's lucky she even has a room in this house. I went cold. My skin prickled. I wasn't just tolerated, I was resented. By my own sister. The person I used to beg to braid my hair when we were little. The one I defended when kids at school called her names behind her back. And it wasn't just resentment, it was strategy. They were actively managing me, keeping me small, silent, out of the way. I made it back to my room without dropping the glass, sat on my bed, stared at the DNA papers still folded in my desk drawer. Something inside me shifted. This wasn't just about family secrets anymore, it was personal. After that night, I stopped waiting for answers. If they weren't going to give me the truth, I'd find it myself. I started with the DNA test. The one I found in the garage was old, and I needed something fresh, something I owned. I used what little savings I had from my part-time job at the bookstore to order a mail-in DNA kit. I had it shipped to my friend Chloe's house, just in case someone checked the mail at home. 2 weeks later, the results came in. Carla Carter, 99.99% match. Thomas Carter, not a match. It confirmed everything, and yet, it still made my stomach twist when I saw it in black and white. There was no mistake, no loophole. I wasn't Tom's daughter, and now I needed to know. Who was? I remembered a photo I'd seen once, years ago, tucked inside one of Carla's old scrapbooks. It wasn't labeled, but I remembered the man in. It didn't look like family. He had kind eyes, messy hair, and stood a little too close to her. Back then, I thought it was just an old coworker. I waited until the house was empty one afternoon. Carla had gone to a book club meeting. Fake. Probably. And Madison was out with her boyfriend. I went into the attic and dug through the old plastic bins. I found the scrapbook buried under winter coats. There it was. The photo. Carla, maybe in her early 30s, laughing in a garden. Next to her was the man, hand on her shoulder, smile, tilted like he knew he shouldn't be there. The date on the back, August 2005. I was born in May 2006. I scanned the photo and uploaded it into a reverse image search. It didn't give me much, just a name tag from an old corporate conference that matched his face. David Myers, IT consultant, originally from Ohio. I searched LinkedIn, Facebook, a few company directories. His face popped up on a consulting firm's website. Older, but still him. I stared at the screen. David Myers. Could he be? It was strange. In all the lies I'd uncovered, this was the first piece that made me feel hope. I created a burner email. I didn't say who I was. I just wrote, "Hi, David. I believe you may have known someone named Carla Carter around 2005. I think we may need to talk." I hovered over the send button. My hands shook, and then I clicked it, because if they spent my whole life hiding this man from me, I needed to find out what else they'd buried. He agreed to meet me 3 days later. We chose a neutral spot, an outdoor cafe near the river. Public, but quiet. I wore a plain hoodie, no makeup, hair pulled back. I didn't want to look like anything. I just wanted to see if I looked like him. When he arrived, I knew instantly. He had the same eyes. Not just the color, the shape. That same crease in the lids when he squinted against the sun. He ordered black coffee, no sugar. I didn't even like coffee. I ordered the same. He sat across from me and studied my face for a long time before saying a word. "You're Anna?" I nodded. "Your email. You said Carla Carter?" I handed him a manila envelope. Inside, the DNA test, the photo, and a short letter I'd written explaining what I'd found. He didn't open it right away. He just stared at the envelope like it was ticking. Carla and I, it was brief, a conference. I didn't even know. She was married. Silence stretched between us like a tightrope. "She told me she had a miscarriage," he added, voice thin. "She never said anything else." That's when he opened the envelope. He read everything slowly, carefully. When he reached the DNA report, he went still. "So, I'm your father." It wasn't a question. I watched his hands tremble slightly as he folded the paper. Then he looked at me. Really looked. I should have known. I would have been there, Anna, if I'd known. My throat tightened, but I didn't cry. "Not there, not yet. I'm not here to blame you," I said quietly. "I just wanted to know the truth." He nodded, eyes glassy. "You deserved better." That was the moment something inside me cracked. Not in pain, but in relief. Because all my life, I thought no one wanted me. But the truth was simpler, more tragic. He never even knew I existed. The house was quiet when I got home. Too quiet. It was late, close to midnight. Carla's car was in the driveway, but the lights were off. Madison was away for the weekend, thank God. I moved through the hallway like a ghost, shoes in hand, breath light. I wasn't planning on staying long. I was packing some clothes, grabbing documents. I had already arranged to spend a few days at Chloe's until I figured out what to do next. But then I heard it, her voice, muffled, from her bedroom. Phone call. I paused outside the door. The wood was thin. My heart beat louder than her words. At first, then, it was a mistake. A stupid one-time mistake. Tom forgave me. We agreed to never speak of it again. Silence. No, she doesn't know the whole story. Just the test. She thinks that's everything. Pause. A brittle laugh. She doesn't understand what that truth would do to this family. To Madison. She sounded tired, but not remorseful. I kept her because I had to. What was I supposed to do? Give her away? What would people have thought? That was it. That was the final straw. Not the lies. Not even the erasure. It was the way she said it. Like I was a PR disaster she'd had to manage. Like raising me was a chore she didn't sign up for but tolerated for the optics. I didn't say a word. I just slipped my phone from my pocket, opened the recorder app, and hit record. Only 30 seconds. I didn't need more, just enough. When she hung up and the silence returned, I walked back down the hall, calm, focused. I tucked the phone into my jacket, picked up the envelope with David's signature confirming the DNA match, slipped it into my bag. They thought I was the quiet one, the obedient one, but I wasn't coming undone. I was getting ready. It was Madison's birthday dinner. Again, same restaurant, same white tablecloths, same over-polished silverware and overpriced wine. But this time, I didn't sit at the far end. I asked for the seat across from her, right under the chandelier. Center stage. Carla looked surprised but said nothing. Tom barely met my eyes. Madison rolled hers and went back to flipping through Instagram between courses like she was doing everyone a favor just by showing up. The tension came in quiet waves, no one saying what they were really thinking. Forks clinked, and fake laughs echoed, until Madison leaned in, loud enough for the whole table. Are you really still sulking? What, didn't get enough attention this year? I looked up slowly, met her eyes, and smiled. No. I got exactly what I needed. I reached into my bag, pulled out the envelope. Thick, labeled in sharp black ink. Truth. The word landed like a slap. Tom's hand froze mid-cut. Carla's wine glass tilted slightly in her fingers. Madison raised a brow, still pretending to be amused. What is that? A diary? She smirked. No, I said calmly. It's the story of this family. The real one. I opened the envelope and slid the first paper across the table. My most recent DNA test. Carla. Confirmed. Tom. Excluded. Tom stared at the paper. His jaw twitched, but he didn't speak. I pulled out the second, a printed copy of the email thread between me and David, his signature on the paternity confirmation. I laid it in front of Carla. You told him I died, I said, voice steady. You told him he never had a child. Carla's lips parted. No sound came out. I found him. And he wanted to know me. Imagine that. Madison scoffed. So what? You found your little side daddy. You want a medal? No, I replied. I want you to stop pretending you're better than anyone, because I know what you said. I pulled out my phone, played the recording. Her voice filled the space, cold, clear, undeniable. She doesn't belong here. What would people have thought? The silence afterward was deafening. Tom pushed back from the table. Carla, you said it was over, that it didn't mean anything. Carla finally spoke, voice shaking. I was trying to protect us, to protect you. I turned to her. You weren't protecting anyone. You were hiding me like a stain. Then I faced Madison. And you? You spent your life making sure I felt small, unwanted, replaceable. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Well, guess what? I found my name, I found my father, and I found my place, just not at this table. I stood up. Tom didn't stop me. Carla didn't ask me to stay, and Madison, she just stared, like she couldn't believe she'd lost the game she thought she invented. As I walked out, I didn't look back, because they'd spent 18 years building a lie, and I just burned it down. No one called me that night. Not Carla, not Madison, not even Tom. The silence was almost louder than their shouting had been. 3 days later, an email arrived. From Tom. I'm sorry. I should have said something years ago. I told myself I was protecting you, but really, I was protecting myself. I hope you find peace. You deserve it. There was no offer to reconnect, no promise of redemption. Just a tired apology from a man who had finally realized he'd been a bystander to a lie, and to a life. Carla didn't write. She sent one single message through Madison, forwarded like an afterthought. She humiliated me in front of the family. Tell her she's cut off, for good, as if that was a threat. as if there was anything left to cut. Madison blocked me on everything: phone, socials, even Venmo. Which was funny, considering she'd borrowed my jacket the week before. I packed my things 2 days later and moved in with Chloe for the time being. She cleared out a drawer for me and made space in her fridge without asking questions. That kind of kindness felt foreign. Like stepping into warm light after years of shadows. With David, things moved slowly, carefully. He didn't try to rush in and play dad, but he did call. Every evening. Just to ask about my day. Just to say goodnight. I spoke with a lawyer about emancipation, but she said I was close enough to adulthood that it wasn't necessary unless Carla tried to come after me. I almost laughed. She wouldn't. She was done with me. But the difference now? So was I. Some mornings, I still wake up, expecting to hear Carla's heels clacking down the hallway, Madison shouting into her phone, Tom sipping coffee like nothing's wrong. Then I remember, I'm not there anymore. Now, I wake up to quiet, to peace. Sometimes I meet David at the park. We walk without saying much. He brings an extra coffee even though I always say I don't need one. Last week he gave me a photo. It was him, maybe 20 years ago, standing outside a tech conference. That was the day I met your mother, he said. Did she smile like she meant it? I asked. He hesitated. Then, no, she smiled like she was hiding. We didn't speak for the rest of the walk. We didn't need to. I changed my last name last month. Took his. I thought I'd feel different, bigger, braver, but mostly I just felt steady. Like for the first time in my life, the ground wasn't shifting beneath me. People talk a lot about closure. I don't believe in it. I believe in choosing what you carry forward and what you leave behind. I left behind the lies, the silence, the pretending, and what I carry now is mine alone. They tried to bury me with the truth. I used it to rise,